that was pretty much the end of that clip anyway, or that demonstration of a clip. So let me go ahead and exit out of there. Okay, now I'm big on YouTube again. Let me take off these glasses because it's kind of hurting my ear. I don't know how y'all get past the thing. I don't really need glass. These are computer glasses for the LED. But anyway, beside the point. Let me go ahead and close that one out. And everything wants to cost money. Let me close that one out. And let me see. Okay. So I don't know if this was the same panel. This is the same panel, I believe, and this is me talking about how men can't really opt out of their duties and responsibilities in any way, shape, or form. Give me 1 second to load this all up, and let me go ahead and that's a picture type of deal. Let me share my screen again, and men can't opt out. Okay, so the title of this one, I guess if you're on TikTok, you want to go to YouTube, the title of the clip is Men Can't Opt Out, Panel Less Speeches After Man Drops Reality Check. And let me go ahead. Okay, let me make sure that it's working. Okay, good. So let me rewind it by a second and start this from scratch. Okay, good. And I'm not sure if I'm making the point right now or whatever, but you'll hear it. And also, if you agree or disagree or whatever, just please leave a comment and let me know what you disagree on. Let me know if I'm bugging, if I'm tripping, if I'm just full of it. But at least you know where I'm coming from, because I can fully articulate what I was trying to get at. Now that we're just doing a rewatch and I'm not on the panel live and in person, right? So let's go through this one, and then if I'm interrupted again, I guess I'll pause it and articulate what I'm trying to say, or if I've said it. An example in their family. Does everybody have an example in their family or friend circle of a healthy marriage or long-term relationship that's gone on for years and years and years, and then you
Everyone's
have
kinda
access
nodding.
to them to at least talk and say, hey, well, what's the secret? Because my father's been married to my stepmom for over 30 years. So when I get the chance to talk to him with the modern era and everything, I'm like, yo, can you just tell me again, the secret sauce in this ingredients and stuff? And I lived with him for a while, but from what I learned is I now have a standard about what I want my marriage to look like. I'm going to be old. I'm going to be arguing with my wife all the time over stupid stuff, but I love you, or I forgive you, and all these nurturing languages is going to come right after that. Dinner's still going to be ready at 7. I'm still going to be picking her up at 5 when she's off of work. Like for 30 years, right? They both have the option to check out and leave, and neither one did. And the only way this marriage is ending is in the casket. That's what I want, and that should be everybody's standard of what they want.
No,
That's my only argument.
that's only but that's only like a piece of it. But like, what's the standard going to look like for the family?
Hold on, Jr.
That's what's broken.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so. I think I made my point pretty clear, right? So my father's married over 30 years to the same woman. The things that they've had to deal with during those 30 years, infidelity is one of them, lying's one of them, arguing and all of the drama and the rigmaroles of a relationship and a marriage they've gone through. And each person in a relationship can give up and quit anytime they feel like it, but they don't. They choose each other for the past 30 years, and the only way either one's checking out is when they die. And that should be the standard of what everybody's kind of looking for. Someone to just rock with till the wheels fall off, right? And divorce, I'm pretty sure my father's thought about it. I'm pretty sure my stepmom's thought about it, right? Everyone's going to think about leaving. Well, should I, shouldn't I? But they choose each other despite having those thoughts, which are perfectly healthy and human. But that's kind of the standard that I want. I want to be able to have an argument with the same person over some stupid stuff, and then, hey, I'm sorry, but also, no matter how contentious their disagreements or arguments are, their dinner is still ready. Like I've heard, I used to live with my dad for like 2 years, I believe, something like that. I live with my dad off and on. He's in Houston anyway, but I live with him off and on, in the guest bedroom, whatever. But they argue over stupid stuff. Sometimes they come and get me and then like, settle this for us. Who's right, who's wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. So I've learned the trick though. The trick is that usually when they argue, they're both right. Like in this context, he's right, and in this context, you're right. So you guys are just talking past each other over the semantics. But in this context, I see what he's saying, and in this context, I know what you're saying is right. So you both aren't wrong. It's just that you're talking past each other, and you guys need to listen to each other and get the full context, and then you'll both understand each other. And I end the argument like that, and there's nothing left to be said. Because there's nothing left to be said. They like to argue because they want to argue their points. The problem is that they need to get the context in order to make the argument more sound and in order to say, yeah, I agree. So I'm in the outside arbiter. So they come and get me as the therapist to settle an argument. And they know I'm a software engineer, so they know I'm smart. They're like, they come to me and they're like, can you settle this for me? Is this? I'm like, oh, well, yeah. And see, and I'm like, wait a minute. What is he saying? Let me, Dad. So what were you saying? And then, oh, well, yeah. In his time, in his day, yeah, that's right. But times have changed and things evolve, and now this has turned into that. And it's like, and it forces them. When I settle these arguments between, my mom and my stepmom and my dad, sometimes they have to, when I finish speaking, they are both forced to stop and think about what is being said. And it's like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And then the argument ends and it's settled and all that. So I've learned to kind of, you don't take a side and say, he's right, you're wrong, he's, you know what I mean? I don't do that. I say, oh, I see what both of y'all are saying, but you're not talking deep enough into the conversation to understand what each other is saying. You guys are you both are standing on, basic principles. It just depends. And there's an age gap between my dad and my stepmom too. I believe he's 80 something, she's 60 something. So it's like a 20-year age gap. So there's a generational thing that's kind of going on too. But anyway, let me just get back to the clip, and then with the context that, I'm just letting you guys know, just filling you in.
Enter the Dragon, I would say this is where it's great to look to people's marriages as examples of what to aspire to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know oftentimes we talk about the people that you really want to talk to is the ones that are in marriages for that stand the test of time. But also what I've learned is not only do you want to talk to people that have marriages that stand the test of time, but you want to talk to people who are invested in your marriage standing the test of time. Because oftentimes your parents may be married for 30 years, but they don't give a damn about your wife. And then give a damn about your marriage standing the test of time. And I noticed that like talking to my parents, and they've had their issues and things like that. But when they went to my grandmother and them for advice, because that was the person that was their mediator, and then it became I think my sister for a bit, but then it started to become me.
Right.
And that's because I'm invested in my parents staying together. So I talk to them in a way that helps them understand one another. Because even my parents come to me for advice when they're having issues or they go.
See, he's talking about what I'm talking about, like what I was just explaining earlier. Like my parents come to me with when they have issues to settle an argument and find out who's right and who's wrong. So he's exactly right. I've lived through exactly what he's talking about. That's why I didn't really need to say anything. I needed to. All I did was say, I was co-signing because I understood it.
Going through something, because oftentimes even when it comes to a therapist, you want to go to a therapist that's invested in y'all marriage staying together, not one that's invested in just trying to either take one person's side over the other, or invested in y'all ending that relationship.
Right.
Because the person that gives a damn about your relationship is the one that's going to give you the best advice.
Yeah. No, I agree.